sustainability and innovation. And I think we've heard a number of presentations about the current issues and challenges facing transportation, but we've also seen presenters connect those challenges to the opportunities in front of us as an industry, and we think we're very well positioned to be part of the solution in the current economic turmoil faced not only in New York State but in the country.
Hi, and welcome back to Keep New York Moving, a dialogue on the vital role of public transit in New York State and how you can get involved. Today we're at the 2009 NYPTA Spring Conference. In this episode we'll talk to some of the presenters at the conference on the hot topics in transit, which include innovation and sustainability. So stay tuned, and thanks for coming along on the ride.
There are buses where they would benefit from a pre-board payment. You know, the buses in New York City on some of the major arterials, they operate at 4 or 5 miles an hour. You can walk faster than the bus. So that's something, you know, where BRT has brought new ideas and is kind of energizing some of us in that direction.
And we've been hired by the county to create a community education program around transportation.
Basically, all the information is always accessible on your phone through this DOT service that is now available called 511. You call the number, they ask you what you need for help. It's an automated system. It's very good.
We brought the children in and asked them to draw their pictures of what they think of when we say public transportation. And those pictures are then made into tiles that are going to be displayed in the concourse and the lobby of that facility, and they'll be an enduring part of it with their image of what public transportation is.
I feel inspired. I have 2 young boys, and I actually grew up on a farm in rural Minnesota, and so my family's always saying, why do you care about transit in cities? For me, I really want to make sure that this planet is sustainable and that the future that my children is going to have is going to be just as good, if not better, than my future. And so I think part of that is really making sure that we're dealing with things like global climate change, but also our economic competitiveness as a country, and creating a good, safe, happy, healthy environment for our family to live in. And so for me, that really is about having as many transportation choices, being active and walking and engaged in my community. And so I get quite excited thinking how, you know, sustainability can help impact me, but hopefully make the world even better for my kids.
Talking about an infrastructure that for the past 50 years, with few exceptions, has been built for cars, you know, one form of mobility, and so you're moving away from that one form of mobility to choice, to modal choice, whether it be van pools, car pools, really incentivizing mass transportation and a number of options and making it more attractive. When you regulate capacity, you regulate choice, and so I see that transition into a new direction.
Reconnecting America, one of the prime things that we do is that we actually run the Center for Transit-Oriented Development, which is a national clearinghouse of sort of best practices going on across the country. We're working in 40 different communities that either have transit or are planning to bring transit to their communities. So we're doing a lot of work to think about how best to integrate that. And in addition to that, we also co-chair the National Transportation for America campaign, which is looking at the upcoming federal surface transportation bill that is going to be before Congress, and how can we really transform and reform federal policy to be a better partner and help to promote communities that are wanting to integrate transit with their communities. And sort of through both of those actions, we've been doing a fair amount of work to help communities think about new tools and new strategies to use transit to promote economic development and sustainability.
The Asheville Sustainability Project fits into transit in a couple of ways. It's really a global study that the city's put on, and their overall goal is to try to get 80% reduction in greenhouse gases at a 2% rate per year. And we have helped them putting together a pretty comprehensive analysis of where the greenhouse gases would be coming from, and the transportation sector was a pretty big part of that. So as far as the transit goes, we looked at a number of things. We looked at their existing fleet. We looked at the transit they had available. We looked at the commuters, the city commuters, which was a pretty big percentage. If you look at the city fleet and the commuters themselves, it's about 31% of the greenhouse gases. So we really kind of focused in on that. And they did a survey of the commuters. And in that survey, we were able to get some really good information on how we could get people not to drive to work. That was kind of our goal, like other ways that we could get it. So if you're a city employee, you could get a free bus pass, so you could ride free on the bus. So they really took a very proactive approach to get people to take transit, because they wanted to demonstrate that the city, we're doing it too here, so that when they went to the other people in the city in the future, they're saying, look, we're doing it, you can do it as well.
Can you give us an example of some of the benefits of BRT?
But the biggest benefit is it allows a gradual improvement to better and better service. It doesn't need a very big capital investment that light rail transit needs, or commuter rail. And that's a big advantage for many, locations where we don't necessarily have the big capital for a more capital-intensive investment.
With Way to Go, we've been doing many different strategies, including doing workshops for people, getting transportation information to information gatekeepers in the community that already work with people and connect with people and troubleshoot and problem solve with people all the time. When they have information about how transportation works, they can pass it on to the rest of the people in the community. And we're collaborating with a lot of existing efforts in the community, like the Schools Project. We're collaborating with public festivals and community celebrations with campaigns about getting to those celebrations and festivals. People are very interested in saving money. Economics and budgeting is a big issue right now, and when we can show people how they can save money, how much money they can save, people are really interested in that. There's a lot of interest in my community about equity and inclusion issues. For example, in the schools, there are whole projects happening about how to get kids to after-school activities, because that affects how well they do in school. And so we're collaborating with them about how to access public transportation, ride sharing, walking and biking where it makes sense. There's also strong connections around wellness and community wellness and active transportation and neighborhood quality of life.
Using YouTube or using Twitter or using a social network is a Wiconomics principle in that you're not trying to do all the work yourself. You're trying to engage the customers to collaborate with you.
We ride CDTA. Are you on board?
I ride.
I ride.
Hi, I'm Sue, and I ride CDTA. Here's why. I take the CDTA bus because it really fits my lifestyle. Besides the obvious environmental issues and the savings on gas and wear and tear to my car, the ride gives me time to read or socialize in the morning before I start my workday, and time to unwind at night after a stressful day. I don't like the commute into downtown Albany. I don't want to pay for parking, and I particularly don't like the drive in the bad weather. It's so nice to park my car in Latham and let the bus driver take me to work. I always thank the driver for doing the driving, so I don't have to.
So the question is, how would you like a TV station that's targeted, local, global, two-way, shareable and social, always on and high definition and measurable? Does that sound like a good value, business value proposition? And how much does it cost? It's free. That's right, it's free. Your customer's been using it for years. It's time for business to use YouTube for free. It's great, right? The cost of production is going way down, and now you can have a direct relationship, and the distribution is mostly free, and then you get your customers involved. It's a win-win for everybody.
Thank you for listening to this short, informative webcast, and please feel free to share it with your friends and log on to our website and learn more about transit.
You can view the full PowerPoint presentations from all of the Spring 2009 NYPTA conference presenters at nytransit.org. Keep New York Moving is brought to you by the New York Public Transit Association. We invite you to subscribe to our podcast to receive frequent, important updates from NYPTA. This episode was produced by Livecast, where communication comes alive.